Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. This is a brand new series that I'm just starting out. Basically, I'm going to be going through my official over-the-board rated games and yeah, just taking you through them, seeing where I did good things, where I did bad things and all the rest of it. The way that it basically works is it's 80 minutes over the board with 10 seconds bonus time for every move that you make. In case you hadn't noticed, new house. Yeah, a bit different. I'm still working out what to do with lighting and all the rest of it. I don't know how this is going to look, but yeah, I think that's basically covers everything. So the first game that I played was against someone called Robert Owen. I think he likes to go by Rob, so we got Rob Owen basically, and this was in just the Leeds Chess Society, of the Leeds Chess University Society, I think it's like the full name, but yeah, the Winter Friendly. And yeah, in the first game I was drawn the black pieces, or at least in this game. So yeah, without further ado, we'll get into what happened. So Robert, to start with, kicked off with e4. Now I knew he was going to do this because I did some preparation beforehand. So it was my first game. I was very nervous, really unsure as to how it was going to go and all the rest of it, and so I just wanted to try and find out what he played. So I looked up and found one or two of his online accounts, realised that he played e4, and against e4 I play the Caro Kann, so that's c6 and then d5, and I knew that he was going to be playing this variation, and I knew he was going to go into the advanced variation as well, purely by looking into his online games. So I knew that this was going to come on the board. I play c5. Now in basically all of his online games, he takes the pawn, and then I prepared all sorts of different sort of like here, like all sorts of different lines that he could play, and all sorts of different things that he had played online. He played a lot of a3s here with the intention of when I take, he goes here, and then I was deciding, do I put my bishop back to b6, do I put it back to e7, all sorts of different lines that I was planning out, because it was sort of like, this is this is sort of the line that he was like predominantly playing when I was looking at the online games. However, in the actual game, he's decided to continue here with knight f3. Now, if I was to see this now, what I'd currently be playing is more along the lines of taking the pawn here, just because then he has to take back into the centre with a knight, not his pawn. Got, a weak pawn push quite far on e5 and all the rest of it. Slightly different, but if you remember, I was nervous first game going into it. I was just going for solid things. Wasn't really looking at him making overly big mistakes in the opening. I was just trying to keep composed, not make any mistakes myself, was sort of my idea. So I played what I did play quite a lot back then, which isn't very good, to be honest. Should really be either taking the pawn or developing the knight to c6 first. But yes, I played bishop out to g4, simply pinning the knight to the queen. I think then obviously with ideas of sort of like taking and stuff, he reinforces in the centre, which, yeah, that's fair enough. So now if I take, he can take back with a pawn. I play knight c6, adding more sort of pressure into the centre. And then he attacks my bishop. I drop the bishop back. He plays here, just getting out of the pin that my bishop has on his queen. And I play e6, just solidifying my position, making sure he can't have any tactics on the d5 pawn. Also, he doesn't have the really annoying e5 pawn break, which he did actually have here. E6, sorry. Yeah, e5 to e6, which is Engine's second suggestion. It's either saying go to g4. Oh no, it is now saying, yeah, the engine says e6 is the top move, and it's basically a pawn sacrifice to completely damage my structure in the center here. So this is just awful. It's like this bishop is gonna have a really hard time getting out of here. And yeah, this is why, you know, in this position I should actually take, and the engine's actually saying it's a -1 advantage if I take, because in this position you've got take, and he either has to damage his structure with that, and then he's got horrible weaknesses, or he takes with the queen, at which point I can just chop in the center like so, and I'm simply up a pawn in this position. So again, in trying to play it solidly, I actually managed to blunder it at this point. Forgot to mention, I think Rob's rating is about 1400, so I knew going into this that I'm a much better player on paper, based on like what I played in online games, but still, as I said, it's the nerves, it's the first game. So anyway, we have that. I play e6, so he can't, and as I said, solidify in the center. He now plays g4, I play bishop g6, and like the computer sort of says here, I'm marginally better, you know, and a game of chess is sort of going to be played at this point. And then in this position, he plays knight to h4, looking to get my bishop. But what he's seemingly completely missed in this position was the fact that that's just a clean knight that he's just given me without any compensation. He doesn't get anything back for it. Yeah, I didn't really know what to say at this point. Well, I obviously wasn't going to say anything because it's silent in a chess match, but I felt like my heart rate actually increased in this position, because I was here like, he's just like made a massive mistake on move 7 or move 9, sorry. Very confused, but I take the knight because it's just a free knight, and I saw like the visible frustration in his face when I took it, because he was there like, you could just tell that he was there like, can't believe that he's made the mistake, like especially this early on in the game. He develops his knight out, just looking to probably go to f3 and solidify the center. I take the central pawn, because obviously in doing this he's given up control with his queen. He puts his knight on f3 anyway, you know. I just drop my queen right back. I'm just there like, I'm up a full piece. I'm not losing my queen to any sort of stupid things that could possibly go wrong. As I said, I'm playing very solidly. He takes the pawn back, and at this point it's sort of just a case of I'm here under the impression of, well, he's got one less piece than me, so I'm going to go and I'm just going to start looking at what piece trades I can make. If I can, you know, just whittle down his pieces, at the end of the day I'm going to have a piece when he doesn't. He castles here, which I thought was an interesting move, especially with his pawns pushed quite like this. I guess it'd be okay. I'm just not sure if I would have done it, but not entirely sure what I would have done in this position anyway. The computer is saying bishop e3, so it's just saying wait again, start getting more pieces active. But I guess he just wanted to be out of this pin. That didn't happen. Anyway, so push the pawns. Yeah, sorry, he castled. I play bishop to e7. Simply just developing my last few pieces. So I'm just here like, if I can get all my pieces out, develop nicely and comfortably, I've got no problems. So I'm here with the intention at this point of just f6, you know, hoping for a trade of this sort. He now plays bishop e3. I take the knight and go f6 with literally the same idea, with basically two plans in this position of if he does absolutely nothing, then I can takes, and I win another pawn, and I still get my knight out. If he takes, I get my knight out. Yeah, so I'm sort of forcing him to do something in all the time, just removing pieces off the board. So he now goes bishop f4, which again I just thought, okay, like I'm just going to continue. I take the pawn. He takes with the bishop, which allowed me to just take the bishop. Yeah, the computer was saying in this position, go bishop f6, with the idea of he's basically got to take, otherwise I guess he might have some sort of counterplay here, but don't know. I didn't even consider that. I was just there like, oh, he's got the bishop pair at the moment, now he doesn't. At this point, my idea was, if I can just get castled short, I laser beam the now open file for me as well, so that's another bonus of this. So I play knight out to g6, simply with the idea of just castling short. He plays queen out to a4 with a little tickling check, at which point I'm just there like, go for it, I'll trade queens with you. You know, it's sort of the same point all game here of I'm up the piece, he can't be trading everything off. So obviously he doesn't, and he goes here trying to prevent me from castling, because you can't castle through what would be a check. But that's fine for me, because I just can play the knight back to f6 and castle anyway. There's now nothing he can actually do about it. So he now plays queen out back to g3, and I really just don't, I never really understood the idea of this move. I guess he's just trying to like protect his king a little bit more with his pieces, but it just seemed completely in the wrong direction. I feel like in this position he needs to start activating his rooks, because at this moment his rooks are doing absolutely nothing at the back here. Yep, so he does that. I continue my plan of castling. He plays bishop out. So I think, yeah, this sort of helps with the idea of his queen move at this point, in the fact that he's trying to move his pieces out and play for f4, trying to just solidify everything. I'm still like, I'll take the open file. If he plays f4, then there's all sorts of rook to c2 ideas, just, you know, really harassing his pieces. So he plays bishop to d3, stopping that. It's a lot of backwards and forwards of I do something and he tries to stop it without having to trade his pieces off. So I now play knight to g5, with sort of basically opening up the rook, you know, getting the knight more involved into the game, because it's not really doing a lot on f7. He plays the rook over. Yeah, so what it's saying to do in the game is put the rook on f3 and just basically say, I'm attacking you everywhere, you're really going to struggle to actually do anything here. It likes that. It also likes the idea of just knight to f3 check, basically just preventing this f2 pawn from moving and just having it as a massive hindrance, because it really makes you wonder, like, what is this rook doing completely? And just to put it into perspective, the game is, or the engine is currently saying that it's about -11. It's just saying black is completely won in this position. I instead go, well, I'm going to go queen out to a4. You know, you've moved your rook from defending this pawn. I'm just going to start attacking you, which I thought was just quite a nice little strategy. It's not the optimal way to go about doing things in this position, but, you know, it's still -8.9. It's still completely winning. So I wasn't too mad. It's sort of a case of he's leaving his pawns because he's got to sort of defend his king better with how like weak and exposed it is. I'm just going to start picking up pawns on the other side before I just get into an end game and just outright win it. So he attacks my queen. I take the pawn. He attacks my queen again. Now, see, there's still opportunities to lose it in like situations like this, because Now, you know, I've just gone and taken one pawn. Like, to attack me, it looks like I can just take the other pawn, but there's the issue here of if I take the pawn, he can check me with his bishop, at which point my queen is seen and completely hung. So he was trying for little tactics like this to try and catch me out if he can. I saw it, and then he tries just harassing my queen a bit. Again here, same sort of a strategy to win my queen. I just drop my queen right back. I've won his a pawn now as well, and my queen's completely safe. All my pieces are safe. He's got nothing here. And what I also quite liked about this little maneuver that I did from here is that now my queen is also attacking on this diagonal, apply more pressure to the f2 pawn and pinning it to the king so it can't move at the moment. So he moves the king over to h1, just trying to be able to move the pawn forwards, at which point now is when I choose to launch in my knight into the position, and he is at this point really struggling for space and just air to breathe. So he plays bishop back, now attacking my knight, threatening to take it. I'm feeling a lot more confident at this point because I'm hit like, you know, I'm up a pawn, I'm up a piece, I should win this. So I'm here with sort of like the danger levels concept of, you know, attacking his queen, protected by the knight. His queen can't take the knight because obviously the rook, so the queen's got to sort of move to the only space that the queen can move in. Again, I was there thinking at this point he can move his queen back, and I'm now in a state of his queen can't move. The knight's still currently hanging, but yeah, the queen just can't move in this position, and it's just really restricting of it, and I just thought that's got to be good. And again, we're back up to minus 11.6 again. So I then calmly just take the pawn on e5 because I'm now like, it's just another pawn. Believe it or not, his queen is still very stuck for moves. It's only got sort of them two moves that it can make, which aren't really helping him in the position. So he plays g5 with what I presumed were ideas of at a later point coming in and just trying to collect the bishop, because the bishop is effectively trapped at this point. But at this point his f2 pawn hangs, so I just take, he takes, I take, and in this position he resigns because there's nothing that he can do in this position at all. His queen is being forced to trade. There isn't a square that his queen can move to where I'm not just going to take it or trade it. He just didn't really want, you know, sort of like this position. He didn't want to play this because I don't know why you would. So yeah, and that's after my first game, so I won it. It was a nice game. It was quite a nice feeling when I won it. The adrenaline was definitely pumping. But yeah, and yeah, I just remember after this one I was really like, I feel like I've got the confidence now going into the future games. But yeah, so that's it basically. Let me know what you thought of this video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you enjoy and want to see more, obviously subscribe, leave comments, and yeah, I will see you in the next one. Peace.